Hey there, facility managers. Welcome to this deep dive, curated just for you, the folks who keep the world's buildings running.
That's right.
Today, we're diving deep into paper-based facility management and, exploring why and how to make that digital leap.
Yeah,
We know you're all busy, so we'll cut right to the chase and give you some practical knowledge and actionable insights that you can use right away.
absolutely. It's
Yeah.
fascinating to me how many facilities still depend on paper, even though studies show that it can lead to a significant loss of productivity.
Really?
Yeah, we're talking about facility managers spending almost 20% of their time just searching for information.
Wow.
That's like having one day a week disappear into a black hole of paper.
Yeah, it's like trying to find a needle in a haystack, except the haystack is blueprints and the needle is that one crucial detail you need like right now.
Exactly.
But hey, we get it. Paper feels familiar, it's tangible. But have you ever stopped to think about how much that reliance on paper is actually costing you?
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're not just talking about the literal cost of paper and printing, although that can add up quickly.
Sure.
We're talking about those hidden costs, the inefficiencies, the risks, the missed opportunities that come with clinging to outdated methods.
Okay, so let's unpack these hidden costs. Give us the rundown. What are some of the biggest pitfalls of a paper-based system?
One of the most obvious is the sheer volume of space that paper consumes.
Oh, yeah.
Think about those massive filing cabinets overflowing with drawings,
Yeah.
stacks of blueprints piled in hallways, spare offices. It's
Yeah.
a constant battle for space, and that space is not free. For hospitals, that cost can range from $200 to $600 per square foot.
Hmm.
And for schools and universities, it's not much better, averaging $300 to $400 per square foot.
And it's not just the cost of the square footage itself. It's the inefficiency of having critical information scattered and inaccessible. What happens when you need a specific drawing in a hurry, like during an emergency?
Right.
Yeah.
That's where the security and safety risks of paper become glaringly apparent. I recall a chilling story of a facility manager who discovered stacks of sensitive facility drawings left out on the curb for trash pickup.
Wow.
A major security breach just waiting to happen.
Yikes. That's enough to make any facility manager's heart skip a beat.
Uh.
It reminds me of another story, even more concerning. A maintenance technician tasked with a seemingly routine plumbing repair. He consulted the paper drawings like any diligent tech would, but unknowingly, he was working off an outdated version.
Oh.
Yeah.
This is where the consequences of relying solely on paper can turn tragic.
Right.
An oxygen line had been added to that wall since the drawings were last updated, and the technician tragically severed it.
Oh my gosh.
The patient on the operating table suffered permanent brain damage, leading to a multi-million-dollar lawsuit, and of course, a lifetime of guilt for that technician, all because he didn't have access to the latest, most accurate information.
It's a stark reminder that these risks are very real, and the cost often extends far beyond dollars and cents. Beyond security and safety, there's the simple fact that paper is fragile.
Yeah.
Water damage, tears, faded ink.
Absolutely. I remember a frantic call from a university after a weekend rainstorm. A roof leak had soaked their entire drawing archive, destroying hundreds of irreplaceable drawings, some dating back to the 1960s. Those blue line prints, the ink literally vanished when it got wet.
Wow.
No Criddle plus Z for that kind of damage.
Talk about a facility manager's worst nightmare. So we've established that paper is vulnerable to the elements, but what about just the wear and tear of everyday use? Trying to make edits or updates on paper sounds like a recipe for chaos.
You're spot on.
Yeah.
While you can certainly scribble notes and make markups on paper, it quickly becomes a logistical nightmare to track revisions and ensure everyone is working from the latest version. Imagine trying to decipher a drawing with layers upon layers of handwritten notes, arrows pointing everywhere.
Oh yeah, it's like a chaotic game of Pictionary with real-world consequences.
Exactly.
Yeah, and let's not forget the challenge of managing multiple copies of the same drawing floating around with conflicting markups.
Exactly. Version control becomes a major headache, leading to confusion errors and potentially dangerous situations. Paper also limits collaboration in today's world where remote work and instant access to information are crucial. Imagine that tragic active shooter situation we mentioned earlier.
Right.
If that facility manager had digital plans readily accessible on any device, those first responders could have had the information they desperately needed in seconds.
That's a sobering thought. In those critical moments, every second counts. So we've painted a pretty clear picture of the pitfalls of paper. But let's shift gears and talk solutions. What are the first steps facility managers can take to make the transition to digital? Is simply scanning everything enough?
That's a common misconception.
You
It's
know,
not just about digitizing the paper, it's about transforming how you manage and access your facility information. Think of it like cleaning out a messy garage. Even if you install fancy new shelving, if you don't declutter and organize first, you'll just end up with a well-organized mess.
so where do we even begin to tackle this beast?
The key is to approach this transition strategically, not just dive in head first. We recommend a three-step process: organize, digitize, and make accessible.
Okay, I like it. A clear roadmap. Let's dive into that first step, organize. What are some practical tips facility managers can implement right away? Hashtag TTS, the deep dive, episode 2024-11-14, part 2 of 3.
So start by identifying a champion for this project, someone who'll own the process and make sure it stays on track.
Okay.
This could be a dedicated facility staff member or even a team working together.
Makes sense. Like the saying goes, if everyone's responsible, no one is responsible. Having a designated champion brings accountability and ensures consistency. What else can we do to set ourselves up for success in this organization phase?
Think of it like prepping a patient for surgery.
Okay,
You wouldn't just start cutting without sterilizing the instruments and laying out the tools you need.
right.
In this case, your tools are simple: some sturdy boxes or folders for sorting, and a few rubber stamps to mark documents as you go.
Rubber stamps. That sounds surprisingly low-tech for a digital transformation project.
You'd be surprised how effective they are. We recommend 3 stamps: as built, scanned, and missing. These will become your best friends as you sift through mountains of paper.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Walk us through how these stamps can help tame the chaos.
Let's say you unearth an as-built drawing, the holy grail of facility documentation.
Right.
Slap that as-built stamp on it so you know it's the golden copy, the one that truly reflects what was built.
Okay.
The scan stamp is crucial for avoiding duplicate work. Once a document is scanned, stamp it to prevent someone from wasting time scanning it again later.
Right.
And that missing stamp, that's for those elusive drawings that seem to vanish into thin air.
Ah, the missing stamp. A badge of honor or maybe frustration for every facility manager who's ever gone on a wild goose chase for a critical drawing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we've appointed our champion and we're armed with our trusty rubber stamps. What's next in this organization process?
Now it's time to roll up your sleeves and dive into the heart of the beast: sorting and inventorying. This is where you'll really get to know your facility's documentation inside and out.
This is where it can feel overwhelming, right? Wading through decades of accumulated paper. Where do we even begin?
Don't panic. It's all about breaking it down into manageable chunks. Start by grouping drawings by building. That's your primary identifier.
Okay.
Then within each building group by project, whether it's original construction or renovation.
So you might have a folder for building A, and within that folder, subfolders for original construction and renovation 2015 and so on. That makes sense. It's a hierarchical structure that mirrors the physical layout of the facility.
Exactly. This makes it easier to find specific sets of drawings when you need them. And within each project folder, arrange the drawings according to their sheet numbers. This brings a logical order to the chaos.
Okay. I can see how that structure helps make sense of the mountain of paper. But what about all the different versions of drawings that accumulate during a project? Design iterations, bid sets, permits. Do we really need to keep all of those?
That's where the decluttering comes in. Remember, the most crucial drawings are the as-builts. Those final, accurate representations of what was actually constructed,
Right.
they're the gold standard.
So if I find an as-built drawing, I can confidently toss out all those earlier versions. It's like those early drafts of a paper you wrote in college. Once you have the final polished version, those rough drafts can go in the recycling bin.
Perfect analogy. Now, if you're searching for an as-built and come up empty, the next best thing is a set of red lines. Those drawings marked up during construction to reflect any changes made in the field.
So those red lines are like valuable field notes, capturing the reality of what happened during construction. They bridge the gap between the original design intent and the as-built reality.
Precisely. Treat those red lines with care. They often contain crucial information that's not reflected in the original drawings. Once you've sorted your drawings, weeded out the clutter, and things are starting to feel a bit more manageable, it's time to move on to the next step: creating a detailed inventory.
Okay, the inventory. This is where we start bringing some digital order to this newly organized paper world, right?
Exactly. Think of the inventory as a roadmap to your facility's information. It's a searchable database that lists all the essential details about each drawing.
So I'm picturing a spreadsheet where we meticulously document each drawing. Building name, project, name, date, sheet number.
You got it.
Okay.
At a minimum, you'll want to capture all those key details. Think of it this way. If you were searching for a book in a library, you wouldn't just wander aimlessly through the stacks. You'd consult the library's catalog to find the book's exact location. This inventory is your catalog, your guide to the information treasure trove you're creating.
That's a great analogy. And this inventory isn't just about finding drawings, it's also about identifying any gaps in our documentation, right?
Absolutely. You might discover that you're missing as-built drawings for certain areas or that some drawings are damaged or incomplete. This inventory becomes your to-do list, a roadmap for filling those gaps and ensuring you have a complete and accurate record of your facilities.
Okay, so we've organized, we've inventoried, we're really making progress, but at some point we need to face the music and actually digitize all this paper. What's the best approach?
Before you even power up that scanner, you need a solid plan.
Right.
Think of it like mapping out a road trip.
Right.
You wouldn't just hop in the car and start driving aimlessly. You'd choose your destination, plan your route, and pack the essentials.
Right.
The same goes for scanning.
All right, let's talk scanning strategy. What are some common pitfalls to avoid on this digital road trip? Hashtag TTS, the Deep Dive episode 2024-11-14, part 3 of 3.
One common mistake is scanning everything in full color. While it might seem like you're getting a higher quality digital copy, those color scans create massive file sizes that can bog down your system and make sharing a nightmare.
Right. We talked about that earlier.
Where?
Huge files are like trying to drive a monster truck through a narrow alleyway. It's just not going to work. Stick with black and white for most facility drawings. It's like choosing the right vehicle for the job.
Exactly. Another pitfall is not having a consistent file naming convention. Imagine trying to find a specific drawing in a folder with hundreds of files, named Scan001, Scan02, and so on.
Right.
It would be like searching for a needle in a haystack.
Talk about information overload.
Yeah.
So how do we create a file naming system that actually makes sense and helps us find what we need quickly?
Keep it simple and consistent. We recommend a structure that includes the building name or number, project name or number, year, and sheet number.
Okay.
For example, Building or Renovation 215-2014 A101.pdf.
That's much easier to decipher. I can see at a glance which building project and sheet number I'm looking at. It's like having a well-organized library where everything has its place.
Precisely. Consistency is key. Post this file naming convention near your scanner as a reminder for everyone who uses it. Speaking of scanners, let's talk about the options for digitizing your documents.
Right, break it down for us. In-house scanning versus outsourcing. What are the pros and cons?
In-house scanning gives you more control over the process, but it requires an upfront investment in equipment training and staff time. You're essentially setting up a mini digitization operation within your facility.
And as we've heard, if that in-house scanning isn't done properly, it can lead to costly mistakes and wasted time, like scanning everything in color or using a confusing file naming system.
Exactly. Outsourcing to a professional scanning vendor can be a smart move. They have the expertise, equipment, and quality control processes to handle large-scale digitization projects efficiently and accurately. It's like hiring a specialized contractor for a complex renovation. They bring the skills and experience to get the job done right.
So it's about weighing the costs and benefits, considering your internal resources, and deciding which approach aligns best with your facility's needs.
Precisely. Whether you choose in-house or outsourcing, make sure you have a clear understanding of the process, the quality standards, and the deliverables. Don't be afraid to ask questions and get everything in writing.
Excellent advice. So we've covered the first 2 steps in the digital transformation journey, organize and digitize. But as we've discussed, simply having a pile of digital files, even if they're neatly organized, isn't enough. We need to make this information accessible and usable. That's where AerieHub comes in, right?
Absolutely. AerieHub is much more than just a document storage solution.
Okay.
It's a purpose-built platform designed specifically for facility managers to manage and access their critical information, empowering everyone from facility staff to technicians in the field.
It sounds like AerieHub is the missing piece of the puzzle, the bridge between the digital world and the real-world needs of facility managers. What sets AerieHub apart from other document management systems?
First and foremost, it's designed by facility managers for facility managers. We understand the unique challenges you face, and we've built AerieHub to address those challenges head-on. Imagine a technician responding to an emergency in the middle of the night.
Well,
They need to locate a specific shutoff valve, but the paper drawings are locked away in the office.
talk about a stressful situation. Time is of the essence, and fumbling through paper drawings in the dark is not an ideal scenario.
Exactly. With AerieHub, that technician can access the latest drawings instantly on their phone or tablet right there in the field.
Wow.
They can zoom in on details, search for specific components, and even make annotations directly on the drawings.
It's like having a virtual facility expert in your pocket, available 24/7. No more frantic calls to the facility manager at 3 a.m.
Precisely. And it's not just about emergencies. AerieHub streamlines everyday tasks as well. Let's say an architect needs to review a set of drawings for a renovation project. Instead of waiting for paper copies to be delivered, they can access the digital files instantly through AerieHub, saving time and improving collaboration.
So AerieHub is a game changer for facility managers, empowering them to be more proactive, efficient, and informed. But it's not just about the technology itself. It's about the support and expertise that come with it, right?
Yeah.
You got it. We know that transitioning to a digital platform can feel daunting, which is why Aerie Engineering is here to support you every step of the way, from the initial assessment of your current documentation to the implementation and ongoing support of AerieHub.
That's reassuring to know. It's not just about buying software, it's about having a partner who understands your needs and can guide you through the process.
Exactly. We've helped hundreds of facilities make the transition to digital, and we've seen firsthand the transformative impact it can have.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground today, from the perils of paper to the power of AerieHub. As we wrap up this deep dive, what are some key takeaways you want our listeners to remember?
Embracing digital transformation is an investment in the future of your facilities. It's about empowering your team, improving safety, and creating a more sustainable and efficient built environment.
It's about moving from a reactive approach to a proactive one, where you have the information you need when and where you need it to make the best decisions for your facility.
Well said. And remember, you don't have to navigate this journey alone. Aerie Engineering is here to partner with you every step of the way, providing the expertise, support, and technology to make your digital transformation a success.
Great advice. So for those facility managers out there who are feeling overwhelmed by paper and ready to embrace the digital future, what's the first step they should take?
Reach out to Aerie Engineering. We'll be happy to schedule a demo, answer your questions, and help you develop a roadmap for transforming your facility information management.
That sounds like a great next step. Well, it's been a fascinating deep dive into the world of facility information management. I know I've learned a lot today, and I hope our listeners have too. Any final words of wisdom for our facility manager audience?
Don't wait for a crisis to force your hand. Take control of your facility's future and explore the possibilities of digital transformation today. You might be surprised by how much you can gain.
That's a powerful message to leave us with. Thanks for joining us today for this deep dive into the world of digital facility management.
It was my pleasure.
And to our listeners, thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next time for another deep dive into a topic that matters to you.